but he posted that picture, and
our sole mission continues to be the
it's got
holding of
over
debates
on
that serve
on
and
a Facebook
inform
group.
the American people.
And
Now, please spare me a moment to explain
having a brain
the
fart
Commission's
here
efforts.
on which group it was.
Debates have evolved over
but yeah,
the past
Andazant will tell you, I'm sure. But it
More
was like up to like
transparent
700 and
criteria for
something likes already. It was like,
qualification of
holy
debate
cow.
participants. The trend toward a
JS
single
is
moderator
bad.
in order to focus greater attention
You're on
on the
it.
candidates and
Has
the
your full
allocation
name
of
and
time
your
for different
address.
subject
Yo,
areas
that's
are
not
but a
good. That's
few
like
of the many
some
changes that have been made.
almost
Many
like
of the details
Nazi
for organizing
type
debates are left
stuff.
to agreement
Donald
by the
Trump
candidates
watch.
themselves. The Commission has selected the times and places for
704
debates,
likes.
the moderators,
Shout out
and the
the
debate formats.
shout out the
Based on
yes, there you
experience,
go.
these are issues that, if left
Copsnorthwest.com
to the negotiations
and
between
Cops Northwest
the
on
candidates'
Facebook. He posted that
campaigns
picture and we
are
watched it
nearly impossible to
explode
resolve
with the
in a
likes.
timely
So
manner. In fact, it were
pretty neat.
protected and at times
Pretty dang
unworkable
neat.
negotiations on these types of issues that led, in part,
what the heck?
to the establishment of the
Why
Commission
does it say
itself.
message retracted?
While
Oh,
there is always drama every 4
but you're
years,
no, you had to delete
and
that
this
yourself,
year is
Andazant.
no
There's no
exception.
way that Streamlabs got that. You're a
process has
mod.
worked. And post-debate research shows that the American people have considered these debates an important part
Yeah, no,
of our political process.
What is up, everybody? How y'all doing? Here we go. Debate number 2, the final debate. There she is, Mrs. Trump, Melania Trump. Oh, the night we've been waiting for. Still light outside, so sometimes you'll see the blinds kind of in the background there. I apologize for that. Let's see how things go tonight. Oh, what are you guys thinking? What are you expecting? Sounds like they're gonna mute the mics when they had their initial 2 minutes, but as soon as the 2 minutes is up, then they're gonna unmute. That way they can have open debate. They want open debate, cross talk, cross debate. So, yeah, this should be quite interesting. I don't know what is going on with my my RAM. I'm using like 27 gigs of RAM right now. Let's see. What is using the RAM? There it is, RAM. OBS is most of it. Bunch of Chrome windows. I didn't think I had that many Chrome windows open. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see like just a couple. I don't know. We should be alright. 87% should be alright. As long as I don't go higher than that. She is. She makes beautiful daughters too. How you doing, Day Waste? You think Hunter Biden's gonna be there? He's gonna show up with his old business partner? I don't know. So yeah, this week I got my new monitor in, so I've got my 2 monitors going here. As most of y'all know, I sent back the 32, 34-inch, whatever it was. So now I have 2 27-inch monitors right here in front of me. And I have them. I have a slight gap in between them. That way, I can have my camera right in the middle. So that way, my camera's right here and not off to the side over here, or off to the side over here, or way up here, or way down here. So,
the moderator for this evening's debate is Kristen Welker of NBC News.
Awesome. Thank you, Dubs.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, the dude. How you doing?
Thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor for
sound
me
okay?
to moderate this debate tonight, the final debate. I want to welcome the First Family and the First Lady. We're so glad and thankful that you are feeling better. I want to welcome the Biden family, Dr. Jill Biden. Thank you all for being here tonight. We are so excited. We're looking forward to a really robust discussion.
Awesome.
And the only thing I would reiterate are the CPD guidelines that when the candidates are talking, please hold any applause or any other
I'll try and stay out of the way.
except, of course, when they walk out. Make sure you cheer and loud and applause so that everyone can hear you. Thank you for having me. This is really the honor of a lifetime. I am going to sit down and just get organized and get settled, and the show will start very soon. Thank you for being here.
Size up one size. It was one size too small. Thank you for that, Day Waste. I'll make sure I'll put that in there. He's a smash. I'm gonna breastfeed. Having issues? Awesome. No issues. Now we sit here and wait 2 minutes. Setup looks pretty much the same as the last one did. You know who they really needed to do this debate? Would have been great to have good old Bill O'Reilly to come back and do this. I miss Bill O'Reilly. Spin Zone. You? Joe Rogan, yeah. Who's expecting a fist fight? Old Joe said he was going to take him out back behind the gym. Sounds like Joe was a bully. What do you guys think? You think did Joe sound like a bully when he said that he was going to take him out back and beat him up? By the way, yes, I'm set for tonight. Got the Angry Orchard. I've got the bread vines I've already been digging into. I actually have 4 packages of those. Thank you, Kelly. I picked up 4 packages of those. Went and got me some of these things. I don't know if you can see them. Were those originals? I went with some caramel popcorn. You ate 2 bags of candy? I had to control myself, otherwise I would have eaten the popcorn before this even started. But this is kind of noisy on the microphone, isn't it? Yep. And I don't know why that has been so quiet on the news. Like, every time he comes out and says that he had no involvement in that, that instantly, that should be like a cue to play that. As a matter of fact, I need to reach out to MK, unless any of you guys have it. I want to get the sound clip. I've got the sound clip. I got a couple sound clips thanks to MK. So let's see. So MK got me some good sound clips. JJ got me some too.
Dude, I want to go to the races, man. The races are all canceled.
I don't want that.
You ain't black.
So yeah, I got
What do you think, huh? If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for all the snacks. You're awesome. You rock. But yeah, I need to get the sound clip. Let me send him a message right now. Well, I asked him to give me a message for that, or the sound clip for that. We wait. We're still live, right? Yeah, we're still live. Did you guys get a chance to see tonight's thumbnail? We got the whole Karate Kid thing going. I mean, obviously Trump would have fit better with the blonde kid, but blonde kid was the bad kid, so I had to kind of swap him out. The image actually that I used actually wasn't even from the Karate Kid. It was a parody of it. Wonder if these men will behave. Knowing Trump, I don't think he will. That's one of Trump's downfalls, is that he struggles with self-control. That's probably just growing up rich. Silver spoon in his mouth. Nobody ever shutting him up for anything. Always being in control. Like me shutting up? Yeah. You know, Kelly, I didn't even think about that. He probably will. He'll probably make notes or write stuff on his tablet. Oh, they're zooming in. Here we go. Turn on your mic.
Good evening from Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Commission's health security advisor. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions.
She's 1 year older than me.
Right now, as we welcome to the stage former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J. Trump.
Hey, I got a mask just like Biden's. I don't know what's on it. Paper.
And I do want to say a very good evening to both of you. This debate will cover 6 major topics. At the beginning of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question. The debate commission will then turn on their microphone only when it is their turn to answer, and the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired. After that, both microphones will remain on, but on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask you to please speak one at a time. The goal is for you to hear each other and for the American people to hear every word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start.
A, B, C, D.
And
I don't
we will
know
begin
sign
with
language.
the
I
fight
forgot. I used
against
to.
Coronavirus. President Trump, the first question is for you. The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee. And since the two of you last shared a stage, 16,000 Americans have died from COVID. So please be specific. How would you lead the country during this next stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
So, as you know, 2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die. We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China. It's a worldwide pandemic. It's all over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now. If you notice, the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas. It's now gone. There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone. And there are some spikes and surges in other places. They will soon be gone. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have
shiny.
Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute the vaccine. I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital. I had it, and I got better. And I will tell you that I had something that they gave me, a therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure. But I was in for a short period of time, and I got better very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight. And now they say I'm immune, whether it's 4 months or a lifetime.
They just approved the
nobody's been
treatment.
able to say that, but I'm immune.
But for those in the hospital.
More and more people are getting better. We have a problem that's a worldwide problem. This is a worldwide problem. But I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles and masks and gowns and everything else, and in particular ventilators. We're now making ventilators all over the world, thousands and thousands a month, distributing them all over the world. It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
Okay, former Vice President Biden, to you, how would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America. We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day, and there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to what's going on in Europe, as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives.
Save 100,000 lives with the mask? Wow.
Thus far, and still has no plan, no comprehensive plan. What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe and give them the wherewithal, the financial resources to be able to do that. We're in a situation now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, said for the first time ever that the way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
How are you going to end it?
President Trump, I'd like to follow
Shut
up
everything
with
down,
your
worse than what
comments.
it is
You
now.
talked about taking a therapeutic.
Obviously,
I see
shutting
you're
down didn't do
referencing
anything.
Regeneron. You also said a vaccine will be coming within weeks.
Yes.
Is that a guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of the year. But I think it has a good chance. There are two companies, I think, within a matter of weeks, and it will be distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well. And we have numerous others. Then we also have others that we're working on very closely with other countries, in particular Europe.
Let me follow up with you, and because this is new information, you have said a vaccine is coming soon, within weeks now. Your own officials say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated. And even then, they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
No, I think my timeline is going to be more accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the head of logistics. And this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine. And we expect to have 100 million vials. As soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go.
Vice President Biden, your reaction, and just 40% of Americans say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the scientists of the world see it, know it, look at it, go through all the processes. And by the way, this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into
being optimistic. He didn't want to panic.
A dark winter. And he has no clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction?
Biden wants to shut down the country.
Winter and at all.
Completely.
We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me. And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a total disaster, far less lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now, but it was a far less lethal disease. Look, his own person who ran that for him, who, as you know, was his
What if COVID
chief of
was
staff,
China's involvement
said
to sway the election?
It was catastrophic. It was horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. Now he comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done. We've done all of it. But he was way behind us.
Vice President Biden, your response.
My response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down access from China. And he did it late after 40 countries had already done that. In addition to that, what he did, he made sure that we had 44 people that were in there in China trying to get to Wuhan to determine what exactly the source was. What did the president say in January? He said, no, he said, he's being transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe him a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him. And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense Act to make sure we go out and get whatever is needed out there to protect people. And again, I go back to this. He had nothing. He did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital and he talks about, don't worry, it's all going to be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious scientist in the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
President Trump, your reaction?
I say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that. I'd love to put myself in the basement or in a beautiful room in the White House and go away for a year and a half until it disappears. I can't do that. And Kirsten, every meeting I had, and I'd meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families and military families, every meeting I had, and I had to meet them. I had to. It would be horrible to have canceled everything. I said, this is dangerous. And you catch it. And, I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals. and now I recovered. 99.9 of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk broadly about strategy, though.
Can I respond to that?
30 seconds, please, and then I have a question.
No, number one, he says that we're learning to live with it. People are learning to die with it. You folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over to try to touch their, out of habit, where their wife or husband was, is gone. Learning to live with it. Come on. We're dying with it because he has never said, you said it's dangerous. When's the last time? Is it really dangerous still? Are we dangerous? You tell the people it's dangerous now? What should they do about the danger? And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your two.
Excuse me, I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's fault that he came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
Vice President Biden.
The fact is that when we knew it was coming, when it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry, it's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said
Don't
he was
panic.
kidding when he said
Don't
that.
freak
a lot of people
out.
thought it was serious. A whole range
Joe
of
wants
things
a major
the president
panic.
said. Even today,
He wants
thinks we are
civil
in
war.
control. We're about to lose 200,000 more people.
President Trump.
Look, perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even, and because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You
I didn't
certainly
say
did.
Sugar Cole
You
Rosie,
certainly
and
did.
I talked about a xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handling
He thought
this.
I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well,
That's obvious.
Do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President
No.
Biden? Okay. Let's talk about your different strategies toward dealing with this. Mr. Vice President, you suggested you would support new shutdowns if scientists recommended it. What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the virus.
How are you going to shut down the virus?
Shut down in large part. Why businesses have gone under, why schools are closed, why so many people have lost their living, and why they're concerned. Those other concerns are real. That's why he should have been, instead of in a sand trap in his golf course, he should have been negotiating with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about what to do about the acts they were passing for billions of dollars to make sure people had the capacity.
But you haven't ruled out more shutdowns.
Well, no, I'm not shutting
They have a
down
bunch
today,
of
but
garbage
there are- look,
tied in with it.
You need standards. The standard is if you have a reproduction rate in a community that's above a certain level, everybody says, slow up, more social distancing, do not open bars and do not open gymnasiums, do not open until you get this under control, under more control. But when you do open, give the people the capacity to be able to open and have the capacity to do it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to open. They need to deal with ventilation systems. They need to deal with smaller classes, more teachers, more pods. And he's refused to support that money, or at least up to now.
Let's talk about schools. President Trump,
I think we have to respond, if I might.
please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns, but forget about him. His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight, and they're dying. They're dying. And he supports all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we have to open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people. I guess it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small, but I want to open the schools. We have to open our country. We're not going to have a country. You can't do this. We can't keep this country closed. This is a massive country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. There's abuse, tremendous abuse. We have to.
He's not
open our
lying. That's
country.
true.
You know, I've said it often. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And that's what's happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country if one person in our massive bureaucracy says we should close it down.
Vice President Biden, your
Simply
response.
not true. We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We ought to be able to safely open, but would they need resources to open?
He just admitted he wants to shut
You need to be
down.
able to, for example, if you're going to open a
then
business,
open.
have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if
We
you
have
have a
social
restaurant,
distancing.
you need to have plexiglass dividers so
We
people
have that.
cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person
We
is
have that.
in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to
We have
provide
that.
all the resources that are needed to do this.
Come
And
on,
that is not
man. We have all that.
inconsistent with saying that what we're going to make sure that we can open safely. And by the way, all you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. So don't worry about it. Come on.
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
By the way, I will say this. If you go and look at what's happened to New York, it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You
Yes,
just
they need
can't.
the
Take a look
socialization.
at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look
Vice
at what
President
New
Biden.
York has done in terms of turning the curve down in terms of the number of people dying. And I don't look at this in terms of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all the United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly. But they're all Americans. They're all Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need that has money's already been passed to do that. It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing's happened.
We did that at my old job.
More than 40,000.
They were doing temperatures as soon as you went
11,000
in.
people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
when you
about-
say spike,
So it's not
take
always
a
a
look at what's
symptom.
happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed. Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now it was just ruled unconstitutional. Take a look at North Carolina. They're having